Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to go through how to use Procreate on an iPad in order to create a neurographic piece of art. Now obviously you can see I've got some reflection on my screen at the minute, so I do apologise. Wherever I sit I cannot get rid of that, but hopefully once we get into the screen recordings that will all not be a problem. So today I'm going to be using my iPencil. It's the old style iPencil because I haven't upgraded yet, and I've got my iPad Pro, and on my iPad Pro I have already downloaded the Procreate program, which is this one here. Now what you need to do to get up a screen, let me go back into the gallery and I'll lose that. So just going to plus, I'm going to screen size, and you can go whichever size you want to draw, so you have a whole list of options to choose from there, so you can choose any you'd like. I'm going to go with the A4 option, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab it and twist it round so that it's that way, because that's what I quite like to work on, something that size. So now I'm going to get into the actual meat of it. It's going to be screen recorded, and hopefully this glare issue I've got going on down here won't be a problem. So we'll get back into it in a moment. So resetting the screen recording going, I'm picking my brush to use, which is the Kooky ink pen. You can do a little test of it to find out if you like it or not. And the first thing I'm going to do is draw a set of circles. Now with your pencil, if you hold it down it will automatically make an ellipse or a circle, and with a little pop-up at the top you can change it from an oval to a circle. So that's a really useful tool for drawing circles. You can alter it as well whilst you're still holding it down, and you can move it around. So while you've still got those little blue dots on it, it's movable, so you can move it to wherever you want it to be, and it's very handy for getting the right size and the right placement for your circles. In this occasion I've got 5 circles that I'm going to have. The middle one is representing me, and the other ones are representing different parts of things that I want to put my attention to. When you've got your 5 circles, then we can have a look at starting to charge them with a neurographic line. So again, you're just going around with your pencil as you would on a piece of paper, just giving them a neurographic line on the outlines of each one. You don't have to use this particular pen that I'm using. Go through the options in the brushes and find out the one that you like to use the best. You can just try them out and then figure out your own options. For me, the Kooky pen is a good one to use because it's got a variation in line width, and I quite like that. It's kind of like using a calligraphy pen in a way, and there is another option for that as well if that's the kind of style you like, or if you just like a plain pen, go with a studio pen to do this, but this works really well for me, so this is the one that I use. So there we go, charged up all the lines, and now we're going to get into drawing our neurographic lines on this piece. So I'm starting at one side. I'm still following the same principles I would if I was doing this on paper, and trying not to, because it's so easy on the iPad, trying not to keep changing or trying to change something with an erase, because that would defeat the object. Obviously if you go wildly off or you make a mark you didn't want to make, then the erase is a really good thing to have. But whilst I'm drawing the lines, I try and make sure that I just stick to the principle of where the line goes, so that I'm not trying to change what I put down in the first place, if that makes sense. And there we go, more neurographic lines. All of these lines seem to be converging into the centre of the me part, which seems to yeah, it kind of reflects what's going on at the moment, so that's quite good. And this is the whole idea of the neurographic art, is that it's a way of problem solving or changing the way of your thoughts. You can zoom in, obviously, as I did there, so you use your finger zoom to zoom in on parts of it. You can turn it round as well. So now I'm doing the rounding out of the pointy bits within the picture. So anywhere it joins onto another line, or if it goes over a circle, then there's going to be a point there that needs to be rounded. And this you would do in exactly the same way as you would a drawn piece. So you're just going to go through with your pen. It's sometimes easier because you can zoom in and look at those points really nicely, so that you can just change that. And so I'm continuing to look at my lines here. I've speeded this up for you so that you don't sit and watch me rounding corners forever. So yeah, you can zoom into areas just to make sure you get all the bits that you need, the pointy corner bits done, like I'm doing here, trying to just round everything as best I can. Again, try not to change anything too much, but obviously this gives you the option of making it the best piece it could possibly be for you. And now we come to the good bit about this. There are layers on Procreate, and because we've got those lines, you could take the layers underneath the line. So the line layer is layer 1, and you have a background colour layer which you can then change to be whatever colour you want to be. If you want to put a background colour in to start off with, I have done that. But then once you start to colour, you can create a new layer for that colour to go on, and then you can place that layer behind the layer of the inked lines, which means that they will always be on top, so you have no worries of going over the lines and then having to redraw them in, if you see what I mean. It's nicer for you to put the layer behind. And I've been choosing my colours, so looking at the colours that I'd like to do, I'm still going to be picking a new brush here, so I'm looking at a gouache brush maybe, but you try out the ones that you like. There's lots of brushes to try, and you pick the one that suits you the best. So here I am going in with colour. I'm going to put this on a speed run for you so you can watch part of this as I do it, which is here, but then I'm going to speed it up a little bit, because obviously you don't want to be sitting here for a whole half an hour watching me colour in. Maybe you do, let me know if you want to see that. I'm happy to do that as well, but for the tutorial purpose I'm just going to speed up now, and you just need to select your own colours for what you want your piece to look like. So you could make your own little palette in the side palette, say you could select a load of colours and just have them ready to use when you need them. And for each major colour change I do a new layer. So all the pinks that I'm doing in the circles together, they're going to be on one layer, and then I'll create another layer and put that behind the other ones and then I will continue with different colours. And this is a really great way, it's a lovely way to play around with art on your iPad. And the Procreate app is great for lots and lots of things, but I think especially if you're travelling, if you don't want to make a load of mess, if you're just sat on your sofa of an evening and you want to create some neurographic art without the hassle of getting out all your art supplies and trying to balance everything, then this is a really, really good option for you to try. So I'm going to stop talking now and let you watch the process. So now with my main circles all coloured in, I'm going to go into a new layer. I'm going to change my colours and I'm going to put that layer below the other layers. So I'm going to drag it down underneath layer 2 and underneath the ink layer. This means that I can't go over the colours that I've already done, and I'm also still leaving the lines available for just floating on top of all the colours, and they're not going to be covered over. Obviously I've gone with the really contrasting colours for these outlying areas so that the central circles still show and pop. And again, I'll speed up this process for you so that you can watch and see how this all gets filled in. Now I'm going to add a new layer. Once it's all completed, I'm going to add in some shading. So what I want to do is add some texture into this. So I want to pick a colour that will go with the areas that I want to shade in. I'm now looking in the textures that there are a lot of on Procreate, but you can also buy your own textures as well. If you want to get some more brushes, you can infinitely change which brushes you want to use. Play around with it, find out what you like. This is the whole point. It's something to do with you and it's a personal choice. And here I've picked a brush to use and I'm just putting it on the areas and then using the blending tool in order just to blend it in, to give it some kind of a gradient, or just to blend it out a little bit into the other colour. And this is going to just add some detail in, or just something just to make it more interesting. And again, it's personal choice. You pick the things that work for you and work for your art piece. And these are a set of brushes that I bought in, but they do have a lot of textures within the Procreate app itself. So do try them out, see what you like, and just play around with it like you would with any art supply that you'd use. I'm just going to stop here and let you watch the rest of the process. And here, just to finish off, I'm adding in a splatter texture, which I quite like the look of. And there will be your finished piece. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and if you did, please click the like and subscribe and let me know if you'd like to see more of this. Thank you. Bye.